I just finished my poinsettia fold and stitch wreath and I couldn't wait to share it with you and show you a tutorial. I've made this pattern a few times. The first time was a sunflower fold and stitch wreath that was done similarly. The second one was a traditional one with some of Amy Sinibaldi's Christmas fabric. And then this one I wanted to make a poinsettia out of grunge that looked like an actual bouquet of poinsettia that just happened to be a wreath. I used 3 different values of the red grunge and then a darker green grunge for the leaves that I created. And the variety made such amazing dimension that honestly, I was kind of fearful that it was going to be a monochrome disaster. But no, it's glorious. All of this starts with Poorhouse Quilt Designs Fold and Stitch Wreath pattern. If you want to learn my tips and tricks to making Poorhouse Quilt Designs Fold and Stitch Wreath and how I turned that pattern into a poinsettia and created a template for the leaves, then this is the video for you. But before we get into the video, if this is your first time here, hi, I am Matthew. This is an inclusive sewing and crafting space and channel. So if that sounds awesome to you, don't forget to subscribe and then hit that bell to get notified anytime a new video comes out. Now let's get ready to make this fold and stitch wreath. So to complete the fold and stitch wreath, you will need the following supplies. You'll need the fold and stitch wreath pattern. You'll either need this Basel 12 6-inch square pre-cut, or as stated here, a half-yard package makes 2 wreaths. 3 different fabrics, 1 for the back, 1 for the front, and then 1 for the applique that goes on the front. There is a lightweight fusible webbing already fused on this, so you'll need that as well. And since I'm making a giant poinsettia bouquet, you also need another fabric for the leaves. In addition, you'll need the template that the link is in my description here. But if you can't see it, this one is darker than this one. So this one is going to be the back square and this is going to be the front square because this one is going to fold up. And then I'll take one of these squares. This is the fusible side of it. And then this is the non-fusible side. You can tell because this one has texture. I'm going to fuse this onto the wrong side of the back fabric. I will fuse this, center it here. Now I'm not gonna iron on the foam. I wanna flip it over. And ta-da! So now I will take one of the back that has been fused and then line up the raw edges of one of the front. And now I'm going to stitch right around this foam without stitching on the foam on my sewing machine. So I have my edge stitch foot on here and I'm just going to follow it all the way around. Now I have a full stack of these that I have to turn right side out. The next thing is to trim off the excess. I'm gonna leave like a 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch on this side of where the stitch line is. You don't want it to be too close because let me show you what happened on one of them. Telling on myself. This one I got too close and then whenever I turned it right side out, some of it came out. I used fabric glue to make it okay, so there's a solution there, but try to avoid that if you can. The next step for me is to slice a 2-inch X right here. I could have done this step before I sewed, but to be honest, I forgot. And here's a solution if you forgot. Get a seam ripper. Look, this one has a light. And then just make sure to get just that one layer and go snap, snap, snap. And then now I'm gonna turn it right side out. I do it gently, put my thumb right there on the Basel to make sure that gets through and it doesn't separate from the fabric. I've got my point turner right here. Stick this in the hole. Boom, boom, boom. First step is to press this to where you can't see any of the white. Where'd it go? And I'm going to go ahead and fuse this side once again and then flip this back over. That's where this comes in. Remove this on the fusible webbing. Center it. And this is the key to doing the faux binding right here. That is a lot more visible when you have contrasting fabrics. And then I had to put my readers on in order to see this. So I drew a line so that y'all can see. And I put this on a zigzag per the specifications of the pattern. And then I'm just gonna have this go down the center. And one thing when I'm getting to the end, let me show you. Your needle can either end on where the applique part is or on the binding part. And I want it to extend 2 stitches beyond the applique part and to land on the binding part before I pivot. And then the stitches will be uniform all the way. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you didn't do it there and end and then pivot, then there would be no stitches here and it wouldn't look as clean. It wouldn't look like binding. This is what they look like finished. This is the front. This is the back. For the purposes of my poinsettia, the back is brighter because those are going to be the leaves in the front. I wanted them to be brighter. And then we're going to sew these together now on the machine. There's a template that came with the pattern that I'm using to make this diagonal line. So you need this pattern, make sure to get it. Use my friction pen, which is erasable, and I'm drawing this line on the front. So where the 2 different fabrics are on the front, like so. And I'm going to do this on this side of all of them and then head over to my sewing machine and sew. And so I have these 2, the first 2 I'm going to sew, and these are going to go back to back. So the lighter side, back to back, like so. And then I'm going to continue to sew all 12 of them this way, just going in order until I come back and stitch over this edge with that final 12th one. It'll create the wreath. And if you're a quilter, I'm going to do something that you're probably not used to doing, which is back stitching. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and at the end of each of these, just to make sure that this seam stays tight. Back stitch. And then go back forward. In case you weren't aware, I switched to a denim needle so I could get through all of these layers without skipping any stitches. And see? And this is what happens. Ooh, now you can see the difference. Are you seeing the vision, folks? When I open it up, this is the back. This is the front. And so now the next one is where I have already drawn a line. I'll get the next one. Flip it over because it's going back to back, like so. And then now I'm going to come in and sew this, doing the same thing, making sure to back stitch. Now I have 11 of those seams in. I'm going to do the final one, make these 2 go like so. And then stitch that. Back stitching in that beginning. And back stitching at that end. Party! Use my final thimble pad on this one. Thread conditioner. Now, just grab these 2. See, bring them in together. Start the thread on the inside. Get there right on the point. And then go over here to the other point and go down. So one side you start from the bottom and go up. The other one you go bottom up here, top down here. Right? And that is a whip stitch. It just goes in a spiral over and over. I'm gonna hold this and then just pull all of that in like so. Press together. Tie a double knot on the inside, and I'm going to continue stitching. I just wanted to secure this right now. I'm going to do probably a total of 6 stitches. That should be enough to tack it or secure it. Tying that final double knot, and I'm going to leave some of the thread excess so I can hide that thread later. I'm going to go all the way around and finish that, but I'm going to do it on my couch. So I have traced 3 of each of this size of the templates that you can get in the description, and now I'm just going to cut them out. This was just extra foam stabilizer that I had that I like to keep on hand for any kind of projects I want to make. And this angle is a 120-degree angle that matches the exterior angle of the leaves of the poinsettia wreath. And I am following the same process with these leaves as I did with those squares. And this can be an estimated cut because we're going to sew right along the edge and then turn it right side out. And this will give me 4. So I need a couple more of this and then some of the smaller ones. This is not fusible, so I'm going to use a little bit of this 505 temporary adhesive on one side just to stick it. And now I'm going to sew along the edge. I'm starting over there and I'm going to keep this open. I'll show you why in a bit. I'll just stitch along this edge. Now I'm going to trim this, but I want to leave about 1 inch on this side. I'm going to use to affix this to the back of the wreath. And now I'm going to trim the rest less than about 1/8 of an inch. Turn this right side out. And I'll press all of this flat off camera. For continuity, I've done the same to the leaves. I have a smaller template for the insert. I didn't have a different fabric, so this is the same fabric, but it's gonna look cute. So if you have two values of fabric that are similar for the leaves, then go for it. I didn't have a green similar. And center that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing and edge stitch this to create the binding effect. I'm gonna stitch here using a zigzag, the same zigzag that I used for the other part, and just go along that line. And then to clean this up, I'm first going to do a straight line here to clean this up. Turn it around and follow this up with another zigzag. Now I have the poinsettia with the leaves. I've already placed one, but on the front of these leaves, I put a permanent fusible tape. I heat set it, and I just need to remove this, put it there, and then heat set it again. It's not going anywhere. I don't want this to be symmetrical, so let me just see where these 6 are gonna go. That's it right there. So now I just got to take these off. Ta-da! Let me show you the back. So that's the back. The back, it even looks really clean, see? So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did making this wreath. I can't wait to put it on my wall. And one reason that I designed it like this is that I can actually take these leaves off. It's just a base red flower that I could redesign for various holidays. For Valentine's Day even, I could put some heart ornaments or some love-themed accoutrement. For the 4th of July, I can put like blue and white ribbon on it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this fold and stitch wreath is not just a holiday Christmas thing. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and then like and comment and share this video. And then if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter because there are a lot of deals and information that I give out every week. So until next time, happy sewing.